The crypto ecosystem is presenting us with a bearish sentiment. To put it into context, look at how Ethereum, in the form of an ascending wedge, impacted a very relevant macro structure which it violently pierced through. Recently, it has created a defensive zone that Ethereum has not been able to surpass. Instead, it has been compressed against that structure, which I believe is evident on the screen. We will cross-reference this idea of Ethereum, of course with the entire crypto ecosystem, and, as expected, with Bitcoin. We were discussing how Bitcoin had approached the ceiling of the macro bullish channel, but on this occasion, Bitcoin failed to reach that contact and instead presented us with what we call a market gap. This gap is showing us buying weakness, and at the same time, we are looking at the macro structure of what Bitcoin has been doing since early March. Now, let's move down to an hourly time frame and see the following. We noticed that there was an idea in which the price had already broken its crick. Look at this level. It seemed representative and important, as here the price had broken with a lot of volume, showing great intentionality, which we were also looking for a flat pattern. Based on this hypothesis, in the last Crypto Insight live session, when the price was around this area, we were telling you that we could be facing the sweetest moment possible to start looking for shorts in the market. It is likely that this is already the limit of the trap. What are we going to do? We will wait for the price to do what it has to do and for a breakout to confirm. There, we can look for a short opportunity. Basically, we are thinking that we are working on a macro flat pattern and that we are at the extreme after an impulse, a channel, a range, a deceptive bullish climactic structural action. That's why we are going to bet on that micro movement of intraday trading or scalping on the short side. The entire crypto ecosystem was presenting us with the hypothesis of being in a very sweet moment to start looking for those shorts. For example, in the case of Ethereum, we also observed that the price had not broken its crick, as its crick was higher up, which could be an indication that Bitcoin, its breakout, and that idea of a flat pattern could be a trap, since Ethereum, as can be seen, had not broken anything. And this is where we cross-reference the information and try to obtain a reading that a chart by itself is incapable of offering us. Look at how interesting this methodology is. To analyze financial markets such as the cryptocurrency market in the same Crypto Insight live session, we were observing the hypothesis, the possibility of waiting for this cryptocurrency, which is a crypto meme called Bonk, which a community member asked us to analyze. We were observing that when the price was around this point, the prudent thing to do was to wait for the price to break above this rectangle, the defensive zone, and in this trap scenario, then yes, start looking for shorts in the market. I would wait for a trap, in any case for it to rise more, to get excited, because otherwise we could get our fingers caught. Well, it's an idea, a hypothesis. I would wait for the trap in this area to short it. Before that, I wouldn't short it. And now is the time to ask ourselves, what do we think of the crypto ecosystem? Whether we will continue to fall or instead, this is a pullback that will sooner rather than later tend to reverse its trend. Well, now we are going to share with you what we think from Crypto Insight about what is more likely, what makes more sense to happen in the short and medium term. But first, welcome to Crypto Insight, your ethical and moral channel for cryptocurrency technical analysis. Here, we really know what we're talking about. We conduct advanced technical analysis that has been developed for over 12 years. We upload videos several times a week. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, let me know and leave a comment with your opinion. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss the next opportunity. Look at the Ethereum chart to what we are going to give importance. First, this bearish impulse under no circumstances can go unnoticed. In the end, what we have to its right is a whole corrective pattern. The price is correcting, and considering that we have compressed the price against a defensive zone, what makes sense? What is most likely is that this bearish impulse will seek its harmonic. Although beware, and here we put a big asterisk. It must be said that harmonics are not always fulfilled, and that they often fail. But what we can say is that it makes sense to start looking for the harmonic, whether it is fulfilled or failed. Since a harmonic failure, for example, which can take you up to the click, perhaps a trap, then the length would not be identical. We would be facing a failure, but notice that even in the case of failure, it is still considered that the market will continue to fall, and I won't even tell you if the harmonic is fully produced. Frankly, it is very difficult to know what will happen, but we are working with this hypothesis. If you look at the 4-hour chart of Cardano, you will see that smart money was distributing throughout this area to subsequently follow up their sails with this trend line. In the end, they are pushing the price, not allowing quotes to prosper upwards. Not to mention the tremendous bearish impulse that was recently presented to us, and that this correction may have the objective of continuing that fall, as in my opinion, it is already trying to seek the bearish crypto harmonic. And if you look at Cardano, they also experienced a strong compression against a relevant structure. And as I said, the base of Cardano's bearish channel is close. Hey, we don't know if that's going to want to be broken to seek a greater misfortune, or, on the contrary, it will simply be contacted and then seek a very favorable situation for the ecosystem. Basically, the message we are trying to convey, and that is what needs to be understood in the discourse we are offering, is that it makes sense to look for a replica, and that it may, of course, fail. If we look at the Solana chart, you will recall that we have been monitoring this very aggressive ascending wedge. Of course, we have already given importance to the strong bearish impulse, about which we were already speculating that the price was going to start a corrective process, this of which we frankly did not know the duration it could have. But what we can say is that this correction may have already reached its final stage. In other words, regarding this bearish impulse, here we have AW. This is a poor I, and all this is a Z. A Z has come to pierce its own trend line, and now the price, as it couldn't be otherwise, is going to look for the trend line that gives meaning to the corrective pattern referring to this bearish impulse. We know very well that as a result of a Z, the price will always tend to go look for that trend line, and honestly, it is very, very close. And what we also know is that we have no guarantee that the price may pierce the structure to seek lower levels. Such an event is not guaranteed at all. It's a possibility, yes, but we don't have full guarantees. In fact, if you ask me, we also don't have full guarantees that the price will touch the structure in a millimetric way. But seeing how the entire crypto ecosystem is, and seeing how close Solana is to its trend line, well, hey, it would seem a bit strange to me that the price doesn't want to go seek that level. And here we will see what outcome smart money has planned for the crypto ecosystem. Before we dive into Bitcoin, let's analyze SHIBA INU. Before starting the analysis, I want to share an idea with you that we discussed in a Crypto Insight live session about an aggressive scalping operational idea to look for a long on SHIBA INU. There we can look for something. We have the impulse, the channel, the range, the deceptive climactic action. We have the first impulse, a little lower, and soon it can offer us the second impulse. Who knows if it will be at least in the defensive zone. Notice how in the same live session we did last Thursday, I showed you before that with Bitcoin and Bonk, we were looking for shorts but realized that with SHIB we looked for the micro bullish movement limit before starting to look for shorts in the rest of the cryptos. It's important to differentiate in the analysis the time frames, as with SHIBA INU we were talking about an aggressive 1-minute time frame, and with Bitcoin and Bonk we were talking about being more patient, waiting for the price to rise to start looking for shorts in minute 15. If in minute 15 we wait for the price to rise to look for shorts, it makes sense that at the same time in minute 1, we looked for longs on SHIBA INU. Do you see how everything fits together? Besides these reflections, now that we have identified in SHIBA INU in its 4-hour time frame, a defensive zone that SHIBA INU is now aggressively visiting. But what I want to tell you is that just like with the rest of the cryptos, where we are saying that there is room for a drop, for SHIBA INU, we can say exactly the same. We don't have to feel smarter than anyone else to pretend to find the specific point where the market will turn around. And under this realistic concept, we are simply going to support the directional trend that cryptocurrencies are showing, which we already thought made sense to happen at the end of last week. Therefore, SHIBA INU, of course, has that room for a drop, either to reach the defensive zone or even to generate a trap. All this remains to be seen, but I think the message is simple. We have room for a drop. And it's no secret that we have been monitoring the Bidget token, the BGB token, after seeing this strong bullish impulse that went to seek historical highs. And since then, we have been looking for areas of great interest where we can look for market entries to replicate said bullish impulse. And we have already been observing in the last few videos how the bearish channel has been pierced, which could then be a prelude to a continuation that, as you are observing, continues there. As for Bitcoin, as I mentioned, we are experiencing a gap, a very important structural gap. We have also identified a macro trend line that speaks for itself. And recently, we have broken a microstructure, which if we go to the 1-hour time time frame, you will see how they have broken the structure and how they have validated it not once but twice to then generate a tremendous flash. And as you know from what I've told you before, what makes sense is not to try to turn the market around like a hero in the first instance, but rather to accompany the trend considering how close we are to a macro structure. And hey, I think it would be very rude of Bitcoin not to want to come and visit it sooner or later. Therefore, the moral of the story is that in the crypto ecosystem, we have room for a drop. Now, tell me, what do you think of the crypto market? Leave me your opinion in the comments. Also, like this video, subscribe to the channel and click on the bell so that YouTube notifies you of future publications. And don't forget to share this content with other trading and cryptocurrency communities. Good luck with your trading and see you next time.